Now let's take a quick look at the yellow, that is the medium, and the relatively okay, not so severe warnings. The test.direct arbitrary send.sol line 14 to 16 ignores return value by message.sender.send. Now, this is pretty much the same error for all the three functions where there is a send being used. All the four functions, sorry. So, if we take a look at the code, you can see that there is just the send being called and there is no consideration to whether it will fail or it will, go ahead. So, you see send being used on 15 and then it's being used here as well. It's being used in the withdraw function as well as in the buy function. So, of course, what if the send fails, right? We have not accounted for that and we have not considered any testing for that path at all. Basically, we have not given any, what is the alternative route, right? So that it is one of the relatively severe problems, probably not so much as the red ones where, the functions are written in such a way that anybody can exploit. But this should be checked, right? So there is a reference as well that you can see which says unchecked send. And we can see what this reference is talking about. So for every error that is raised by Slither, there is reference documentation in terms of what this could fall into, right? It may not be the exact category sometimes. However, this is definitely helpful. We can see here that the exploit scenario is that the written value of send is not checked. So if it fails, ether will be logged in the contract. If send is used to prevent blocking operations, consider logging the failed send, right? So the recommendation is to ensure that the return value of send is checked or logged. It's medium severity. That's why we can see it's in yellow. Now, there is also this other errors, that is, it should be some of the functions can be declared external as they are not being called internally or do not need the public visibility. And yeah, these are pretty much the same recommendations for all of these, that this should be external. Now, there is a reference to this as well. And this is about the same one, that is public function that could be declared external. You can see that we already noticed this one. So there are, oops, sorry, we go to this one, detector documentation. Yeah. So here, check is external function. Since the severity is optimization, it is not that high level. You're just basically optimizing, the function and then to essentially save gas, right? So that's why the severity is marked at D. Now we have an idea as to how you can run Slither and how you can see the various vulnerabilities, and then you can figure out some of these are direct, like just adding the external keyword, it fixes, like how we saw in the previous contract, storage.sol. However, some of these are also related to logic. So you would need to think in terms of how you can make the contract itself better in such a way that it cannot be exploited, right? So this is a great tool for you to learn and for you to get familiar with how to write good smart contracts, both in terms of syntax, both in terms as well as in terms of logic. And then as you start over here, you can slowly, keep going upwards in terms of implementing these best practices and then going to the next level of things like fuzzing and how you can write better secure smart contracts and check for vulnerabilities in your smart contract.